Just like happiness and sadness go together, the same way all other notions are the same way. Poor, rich, they are together, part of the same wave. Same as you are unknown and you are now wanting to be famous, they are the same way. Both are strugglesome, burdensome. Clinging to either, you remain in this conditioned mind and you have no chance to discover what actually is, what is truth, what you are, those real questions, that what is death, what happens after life, where you came from, who you really are. You will have no time for this because the mind is conditioned to get somewhere, to be someone, to always be in competition, always see yourself less, wanted to be more. And unless you see what you get when you're there, you might be lucky that you can avoid that altogether, see the game beforehand by chance. It is believed that the poor has less and the wealthy has more. On the surface, it looks obvious. One struggles to earn, the other lives in comfort. But let's look deeper. When you have little, your mind says, if I had more, I would finally relax. More money, more realization, more recognition, more status, more security, more spirituality. So you chase. Now, imagine you succeed. You inherited wealth, or you build it, or you become known, famous, respected. From the outside, it looks like freedom, like a good dream. But now something else begins. You must maintain it, protect it, grow it, defend it, sustain the image. Before wealth, you feared not having. After wealth, you fear losing it. The fear has not disappeared, it has only changed direction. The farmer who sleeps after sunset may worry about tomorrow's rain, but the famous person worried about reputation, about status, about public opinion, about falling from the top. One works during the day and may rest at night. The other works day and night, not only physically but mentally, planning, managing, perception, pretending, and protecting position. The poor man thinks, if I reach that level, I will be free. But the one at that level is often more bound than the one below. Just like a politician appears powerful, but he must please thousands, sometimes millions. Every word is calculated, every move watched. Who is serving who? The servant may serve one family, the leader serves an entire population. The celebrity serves the public's expectation, the wealthy serves the system that protects their wealth. It only looks like power, and it is not only wealth or fame. Even the one who chases wisdom can fall into the same structure. At first, you seek truth to be free, but once people begin listening, once followers gather, the image of the wise one must be maintained. Authority must be protected, position must be preserved. Where there is position, there is comparison. Where there is comparison, there is rivalry. The claimed gurus begin by guiding, later they must defend, not because truth changed, but because identity formed around it. So even spirituality can become ambition, even wisdom can become status. The trap is subtle. You were seeking freedom, but you build another throne. Now, look at the birth of desire. You see someone driving a luxury car while you ride a bicycle, your mind compares suddenly, your simple life feels small. So you push your children, become successful, earn more, be important, but those dreams were born in comparison. When those children arrive, they had no desires of their own. Those desires were accidentally given to them, and if that child succeeds, becomes famous, influential, admired, the pressure multiplies. You want your children to have a peaceful life, but accidentally, what you are giving them is more pressure. Life becomes constant maintenance, image must be polished, followers must increase, influence must grow, sleep becomes lighter, peace becomes conditional. Before you build those muscles, eating was simple. Now every meal is calculated, protein measured, supplements stacked, money spent maintaining what must constantly be sustained. What once was nourishment has become management. Even before you owned land, you never worried about mowing it, cutting the grass. Now you own acres and weekends disappear maintaining what you call success. Before the big house cleaning was simple, now rooms you rarely enter must still be dusted, repaired, secured. Before popularity, no one watched you. Now every word is measured, every action judged. Before status, you slept. Now you protect reputation, manage impressions, plan the next move. You wanted freedom, you collected responsibility. What looked like expansion becomes maintenance. What looks like elevation becomes pressure. You thought you were gaining control, but you were adding layers to protect. The chains do not look like chains here, they look like achievements. And because society praised them, you rarely question them. Different position, same structure. The one who has little and wants more is trapped in becoming. The one who has much and fears losing is trapped in maintaining. So the question is not, are you poor or are you rich? Are you known or are you famous? And the question is, are you trapped in need to become? Or are you free from the need to become? Because if your peace depends on reaching a level or staying at a level, you will never rest. The true freedom is not found in having less or having more. It is found when you see the mind's conditioning and the trap within it. Only then, whether you farm a field, build a business, train your body, teach others, or lead a nation, you remain inwardly light. Otherwise, all of them, poor, rich, unknown, famous, even wise, are just different uniform in the same game. This is not about rejecting comfort. Food matters, shelter matters, medicine matters, security matters. A stable life makes clarity easier. If you are constantly hungry, sick, or unsafe, the mind cannot rest. Necessities are not the problem. Pretending to live simply while secretly desiring more is also the same game. Having less does not make you free. Having more does not make you trapped. Clinging does. Chasing does. Whether through wealth or through artificial simplicity is the same movement of conditioned mind. If you are restless in poverty, you will be restless in wealth. If you are chasing dreams to become someone, you have not yet paused to see who you already are. Freedom is not in subtraction, it is not in accumulation, it is in understanding. Only when the mind stops chasing more or less does it become quiet enough to see clarity. Only when you have time for yourself, you can look into the bigger question about death, about fear, about who you really are. Otherwise, you will chase these dreams and you will never rest even when you go to the top. Just imagine a deer running away from a lion, and the deer gets an idea, or someone teaches the deer, now you climb up the tree. That is a safe place. But deer has no idea about what is at the top. So by chance, it builds a platform, and every time the lion chases, it goes up the top. Now at the top, there is a snake waiting, there is a leopard waiting on the tree. Neither the top, neither the low are safe. They are a trap of the mind. That is how mind is conditioned, because you look with your intelligence what you see on the videos. Those movies, a small child appears with tea, clothes, old clothes, and it shows that child now becomes a godfather slowly, controls everything, becomes wealthy. The mother is happy, buys the new house to the mother, and then the same boy is now troubled by other gang members, other rivalry gangs. That is what you see. And even when you see the other side of the things, these politicians, these famous people are no different than that. They don't show you in these movies like that, but they are more burdensome than those that are actually called criminals. They might not commit the crime, but they don't have easy life. Their life is always burdensome. Moment they walk out of the house, they worried about what they are wearing, how the people will perceive them, what they are driving. Are they driving Toyota Corolla or they driving Mercedes Benz? Now they are always thinking about how the others people looking at them. They are more servant than that little boy that who is giving tea to people that you see in the movie. At least that child was free, giggling, but the mother, the parents, the society teaches that little child, come on, you have to become more, you have to wear suits, and those who wear suit are no different. Wearing suit does not make you any different. Now you are actually more in trouble. The point is that neither, clinging to neither is safe. Seeing it clearly that both are part of the mind. You need a stable life, a balanced life. Even saying that I will leave everything, then go to the jungles, what? You sleep on the floor, the mosquitoes will bite, you will get infection, then you will run to the doctors. There will be 10 degrees Celsius, cold, you have no clothes, then the mind cannot rest either. Necessities are important, as much as important, because without the necessities, the mind cannot rest. But when the necessities are fulfilled, shelter, medicine, then the body is okay. Then you can relax, the mind can relax. Then in that relaxation, everything reveals. Your true nature reveals not this body only that you are clinging to, that you are working towards, that image, that conditioning. Then you know your true self that does not get old, never born, never dies. But you cannot get to that stage till you see all these nonsense that you have been conditioned. And if you are parents, is it wise, is it nice to give your kids more problems, more burdensome life? What you have gained by some houses, cars, some jewelry, did that give you peace of mind? Or your death is waiting around the corner? These are the real questions. These are the real investigations. Everything is now fulfilled in the way that humans can have necessities very easily. Simple bread, food, clothes, and then relax. Even if you have to work 20 hours a week to provide for necessities or get your necessities in line, then you have the remaining time, at least 20 hours a week you can spend meditating, relaxing, seeing how your mind is conditioned, so that you can be away from this conditioning and see your true nature. That is what is wisdom for your children, to be a peaceful life, to have a restful life, not burdensome life, because even those with millions, what happens to them? They all die one by one. Because there is a notion that you can conquer this world, you can become more, but no one can stand against reality. But when the mind is still, the reality reveals itself not to someone, that someone is conditioned. And when you leave that someone, you leave the conditioning, then the reality itself is you. But you have to experience what is reality, what is truth, what is divine. That cannot happen if your mind is conditioned and you are running after all these desires. See it. And when you see it by chance, you can then turn around, leave this burden life, and start resting